Well, it's a big welcome here to Cadwell Park in Lincolnshire for this round 4 of the ACU FSRA British F2 Sidecar Championship. Conditions could not be better. Well, it's a little bit overcast, but the sun's still shining. And let's introduce then to your race commentator for this event, Richard Ringrow. Richard, looking good out there.
Yeah, thanks, Kenny. And as Simon Neary and Jason Crow come on to pole position, they set pole on Saturday morning. It is alongside them Carl and Ian Bell. Ian Bell, the driver, Carl Bell in the chair. Of course, a very famous racing family in terms of the sidecars. There is number 11, that's Carl Fennick and Mark Sayers. The rest of the sidecars are just about ready to get underway. We have got an on board as well with John Holden and Andy Winkle starts from the back of the grid as the guys get underway and make their way up towards Coppice.
There's a little story here about John Holden, is there, Richard? Something to do with Saturday and weddings?
Yeah, his son got married on Saturday, so he missed out on qualifying on Saturday morning and also, of course, the race on Saturday as well. So he starts from the back of the grid, and it also meant, Kenny, that he lost his championship lead to Simon Neary and Jason Crow, who took the win on Saturday.
Well, talk of the devil, there is Simon Neary just going through, but Holden now has to come from the back of the grid and already is making his way up through the field. That's a bit of a tall order around this track, Richard.
Very hard to overtake around the tight and twisty Cadwell Park circuit as Simon Neary and Jason Crow come out of the gooseneck and down in towards Mansfield. You see the Dave Hudspeth Carpets sponsorship on the side of Simon Neary and Jason Crow's outfit as they come into the chicane.
Across the grass. Well, he won't be penalised for cheating on that one, as he was already in the lead.
Yeah, I don't think you can count that as cutting the chicane totally.
Really. No, not really.
As the rest of the guys make their way in towards the bottom of the mountain, we've got to keep our eye out for, of course, John Holden and Andy Winkle. Of course, they are the reigning British F2 champions, twice over now. They won in 2009 and 10. And there they are. Yep, just making their way through Hall Bends and out towards the hairpin. There's number 14 outfit of Pete Alton and Sean Parker. But as the leaders come out of barn and onto the start-finish straight, it is Simon Neary and Jason Crow that lead the way. There's the number 6 outfit of Roy Hanks and Dave Wells. Roy Hanks, of course, next British F2 champion.
And a legendary F2 sidecar racer, I have to say.
Most certainly, it's a very famous family. Of course, Tom Hanks is his nephew. Tom Hanks, a 3-time British F2 champion. Roy Hanks and Dave Wells won it back in 2004, Kenny.
We're on board again with John Holden. He's trying to make his way through the field to have any chance of having a crack at the race leader, who at the moment, as we said, is number 2, Simon Neary. And, well, I tell you, this is more than a tall order around the track here, but he's going for it.
Yeah, just gone past Howard Baker and Mike Killingworth as John Holden. The other problem John Holden had, Kenny, in the Sunday morning warm-up, there was a problem with the engine. He felt it tighten up, and he actually changed engines after the morning warm-up. So he's basically on his standard engine.
Maybe it would have been an answer to stick 1,000 in there.
That's one way round it, of course.
It is done in F2 sidecar racing. You have seen the F2. I mean, the viewers out there probably don't really understand the difference between an F1 and F2 chassis, but perhaps you can explain.
Well, the F1, the overall size, the F1 is bigger. The riders tend to lay down more, the F2 drivers tend to sit up more, but the other is the general size. The engine on an F1 sits behind the driver, whereas on an F2, the driver sits on top of the engine.
And the other big difference is that the F1s are usually 1,000cc, whereas these are all 600cc.
That's a baby.
So we're on board again with John Holden and Andy Winkle as they try desperately to get past other riders to have a crack at the guy out front, which of course is Mr. Neary. And I'll tell you something, Richard, I think he's going to run out of laps.
I think he is as well, Kenny. It's now a 24-point gap in favour of Simon Neary and Jason Crow coming into this race.
Yeah, and they've just gone through. Silver number 7 there, Gary Bryan and Gary Partridge. Gary Partridge, of course, the passenger better known to me as used to ride with Ian Guy, who now rides on the F1 British Series.
There's John and Holden and passenger Andy Winkle once again making their way around Chris Curb. I think that is Kenny going to come down in towards the gooseneck as Simon Neary and Jason Crow come down into Mansfield. looking to see who that is in second position.
But it was Gary Bryan.
I think he's still Gary Bryan and Gary Partridge, yeah.
Base Tyres, Drury Engineering, Honda.
Carl Fenwick and Mark Sayers, I think, are up next, Kenny. They're the first of the Cup runners as well, and they actually lead the Cup standings at the moment. There is two classes within the one race. There is the main F2 Championship and the Cup. There's for drivers and passengers not so experienced as the main championship.
Well, there is John Holden just a moment ago, looking at his passenger when that wheel came up, coming out of that little chicane. Back into the wooded area. This is into this right hander, which is very tight, but there the race leader still clearly out front. Simon Neary with number 7 still chasing. Then it's the number 11 outfit of Carl Fenwick and Mark Sayers, you say. Carl Fenwick, local lad from Alton Borough, which is just up the road from here.
Okay, I didn't know that one, Kenny.
Not
number
far away from here.
number 45 I saw up there in around about 5th position, and that's Dave Atkinson and Phil Napton. That's the brother of Paul Napton, sons of Ken Napton, of course.
There's a bit of a history.
Yeah, another main sidecar racing family. Paul Napton, of course, with Simon Neary last year, actually hold the F2 lap record around the Cadwell Park circuit, so around about 137.3. I think the fastest at the moment is Simon Neary and Jason Crowe. Now still up in the 139s at the moment, Kenny.
And minus his normal passenger, Kipash Chowan, who broke his leg, I think it was here a little earlier.
I think it was as well, Kenny, back in April, I think it was, here at Cadwell Park. But Dips, as he's known to everybody, I think he's here this weekend watching. And I think he's out on the Park Straight at the moment.
I'm sure he's not enjoying himself. Come on board again with Simon Neary. And the Honda LCR making its way through the woody section down towards that very famous right-hander, this little... what do you call it, hairpin? It's
a very tight hairpin, that one, Kenny. It's steering up to 90 degrees, very, very tight. Then it's on to Barn Corner, and of course Barn Corner then opens up, as much as Cadwell Park does open up, onto the start-finish straight.
It's a wonderful circuit here, very scenic, up and down. We always get great racing here.
And the F2s love it. The F2s absolutely love this place. That's why they have 2 rounds here. Already been to Snetterton on the 300 circuit, Anglesey as well. For the F2. They've yet to go to Consercoombe, Brands Hatch and Croft.
Well, Brands Hatch is for us some interesting racing on the Indy circuit. But,
they will be on the Indy circuit at Brands Hatch. Today the last round will be at Croft.
It's a long way to go, and it's a bumpy track for sidecars, but I'm sure they're going to enjoy themselves.
Consercoombe is one of the bumpiest going.
That also is a bit of a bumpy one, yeah.
But Croft they know very well, and of course that's Bell home country.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very much so. Is the Croft circuit run by the North East Motorcycle Club, that one will be. The Brands Hatch will be run by the British Motorcycle Racing Club and MRO. Consercoombe, I think, is run by the Uera Club, Kenny. They're one meeting of the year. But we're here this weekend at Cadwell Park. There is the number 7 outfit of Gary Bryan and Gary Partridge. They're still up there in second position. They're still Simon Neary and Jason Crowe, the race leaders.
Well, they have this pretty well sewn up at the moment, no opposition to speak of, but there's a good old scrap going on here for second place. It's still in the hands of Gary Bryan, as you say, and the number 11 outfit of Carl Fenwick chasing, but that number 6 outfit there of Roy Hanks, the, dare I say, the old boy of sidecar racing, he's right on it, isn't he?
Let's say he's the most experienced.
Yeah, he's the grandpapa of sidecar racing, that's what I call him.
Dave Atkinson and Phil Napton still right behind him. Then I think up next was Frank Lelius and Mike Aylott. Frank Lelius, the French F2 driver. Driving the next Tim Reeves F2 outfit, I believe.
Is that the one he did the Isle-of-Man with?
It may well be, Kenny. I'm not sure about that one.
I hope it doesn't break down there, because it did over there.
Of course, Frank Lelius, on the side of that outfit, sponsored by a sponsor you all know, L&W Contracts, of course, involved with the F1 sidecars. Dave Walton, yes indeed. There is John Holden and Andy Winkle, British champions.
Where's he up to about now?
He's up to around about 6th, 7th position, Kenny, is John Holden and Andy Winkle, up to 7th, I think. That was Tony Baker, number 10, and Fiona Baker-Milligan on the chair with Tony Baker, of course, the legendary chassis builder, Tony Baker. The tubular Baker chassis.
Well, this scrap for that second place is beginning to tighten up just a little bit. Number 6 there, Roy Hanks, Dave Wells. And Roy, no stranger to any of these tracks. He's been round them enough times over the years, but He'll use all his experience, vast that it is, to find a way to try and get a few extra hundredths of a second on the guy in front.
Gary Bryan, Kenny, had a problem. Yes, he retired from the race yesterday with a broken gear linkage, so they've repaired that one today. Obviously was able to start from his grid position, because that came from the qualifying.
And no change out front. It's still that #2 outfit of Simon Neary. And we're going to take a short break. We'll be back right after that with more top-end F2 sidecar racing. Welcome back here again to Cadwell Park for this ACU FSRA Formula 2 British Sidecar Championship round. It's round 4 of the series, and I can tell you what, it's hotting up on the track out there, Richard.
Certainly is, Kenny, and things are getting a little bit closer with John Holden closing in. There's the #6 outfit of Roy Hanks and Dave Wells, and they're closed in on the outfit in front of them. But I'm also looking out for John Holden to catch these guys up. There's still Gary Bryan and Gary Partridge up there in second. There's Carl Fennick and Mark Sayers, who are the leaders of the Cup at the moment. Dave Acton, Phil Napton are second in the Cup at the moment, and Frank Lelius and Mike Aylott are up next. Well, there is Frank Lelius just coming out of the chicane, followed by #15, that's Conrad Harrison. Then it is John Holden and Andy Winkle up next as they make their way across the top of the mountain. The F2 do get a little bit airborne as they come across the top of the mountain. And John Holden and Andy Winkle trying to get past Conrad Harrison as they make their way through Hall Bends and onto the chicane. Then it is Barn Corner, just coming into Barn Corner now for the British champions. Of course, they won their debut TT this year as well, did John Holden and Andy Winkle. Finished second many times with John, but this time he took his debut TT win. As they make their way across the start-finish line and up towards Coppice, and then it is on towards Charlie's In, and then it's Charlie's Out. Conrad Harrison finished second in that TT to John Holden. Conrad himself had problems here yesterday with a seized engine in qualifying, replaced the engine, and he's made it out into this second race of the weekend for the F2 British Championships.
John's having a bit of a try here. He just can't seem to get past the guy in front of him.
Now, I think it might be, Kenny, he's got basically a standard engine and he just hasn't got that little bit of extra pace. He is taking his time getting through the field, and I did expect John to come through the field a little bit quicker, but that might be because he's got the standard engine now after his main engine nipping up.
The French man in the 104 outfit, another target for John to go for. These two, as you say, perhaps that little bit of power difference is holding him back just a bit, but
also, Kenny, the Cadwell Park circuit is so tight that if you haven't got that little bit of extra oomph, then it's going to be a big problem. It looks as though Andy Winkle tapped John on the back then as well, as though there might have been a problem, but they seem to be carrying on okay.
Maybe he's just encouraging him to get a hurry up.
Yeah, go quicker, John.
Come on, John, get past these two in front. You know you're quicker than they are.
Frank Lelius has got a change of passenger this weekend. Normally he has his fellow Frenchman on there, Jerome Vanier, but this weekend it's Mike Aylott on the chair.
I reckon those two are having their own little war at the moment and really don't care where John Holden is. There's the top 2, 3, 4 going through. Next man should be 5th place, which I think was #45. Yes, indeed it is. Dave Atkinson from Fair Oak.
Dave Atkinson and Phil Napton on the chair. Looks like John Holden's got past one of them outfits, and it's gone past. Is that Conrad Harrison? I think that
is the #15 outfit. Yeah.
So he's up into, I think, 7th position now. There's the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Carl Fennick and Mark Sayers closing in now on that #7 outfit of Gary Bryan and Gary Partridge as they go across the top of the mountain and in towards Hall Bends.
But just look who's behind them.
It's Roy Hanks and Dave Wells. Can't keep a good one down, Kenny.
You never keep Roy down. It's a famous racing family, Hanks family, and well, 26 here. Gordon Shand and Lee Barrett, and the sponsored by Mullen. I'm not sure what they do, but sounds like a beer to me. Yellow flag's out, so that means we've got a problem somewhere.
Problem around the outfit somewhere.
Who is that?
Just trying to catch a number there, Ken. Is it #17, Tony Baker?
It looks very much like Tony Baker.
Tony Baker and Mike Killingsworth on the chair. There's Carl Fennick and Mark Sayers, still there in third position, but they are the first of the Cup runners. Now, the Cup has got their own championship, but they also do score points in the main championship as well. So he leads the Cup, Carl Fennick and Mark Sayers, but he's also fourth position overall.
Change at the top of the hill.
And it looks like, is that Carl Fennick's gone up into second then, Kenny?
I think you could be right there, mate. They were going for it right in the inside of the corner, and it looks like they made it stick. There's the race leader. He doesn't care what's going on behind him.
Now, it looks as though they went into second at Park Corner, I think.
Seconds changed. Carl Fennick, as you say, has gone through.
So Carl Fennick and Mark Sayers up into second position overall. Obviously still leaders of the Cup are Carl Fennick and Mark Sayers. They've already got a 30-point lead coming into today's race over Dave Atkinson and Phil Napton, and another point on top of Frank Lelius and Jerome Vanier. Of course, this weekend is Mike Hayward with Frank Lelius. But in towards Hall Bends for Carl Fennick and Mark Sayers, followed by Gary Bryan, Gary Partridge. Then it is Roy Hanks and Dave Wells in the chair. Of course, these two have been together for years. A lot of these guys do change their passengers, but Dave Wells has been Roy Hanks' passenger now. It's got to be 10 years they've been together. Notice we haven't mentioned, of course, the famous Bell family as well. And Ian Bell, of course, was in this one with his passenger, but went out on the first lap, did Ian Bell, with problems.
Shame for him. Great deal of shame with this.
Of course, his brother, Jeff Bell, a TT winner, of course, was Jeff. And Jeff, I think, also won the F2 championship, did Jeff Bell, also TT winner. And of course, Jeff's son, Phil Bell, is in the F1 sidecars.
Indeed he is. Well, here he is, man out front. Not stopping this boy at the moment, Mr. Neary and Mr. Crow. Who's going to come through in second place? It should be that number 11 outfit of Carl Fenwick. Look at the distance. Indeed it is. And I don't think Gary Bryan has given this one up.
No, he's hanging on to him. He's got to keep up the pace because, of course, Roy Hanks and Dave Wells are just behind him. Simon Neary, yeah, he's still using the curves. He's Simon Neary.
That one is.
Just looking at my facts and figures, Jeff Bell actually never won the F2. He finished second in it, Kenny, back in the early 90s.
Well, there's always a chance.
Yeah, I think Jeff's days, he's looking after son, is Jeff nowadays, I think. Gary Bryan.
Grown wise as he's grown older, probably. Oh, throw it in, why don't you? Oh, if that was wet, he wouldn't have got away with that.
That's at the hairpin, that is. For Simon Neary and Jason Crow in the chair. There is Carl Fennick, Mark Sayers. They were out of the hairpin and coming down into the barn corner, followed still by Gary Bryan and Gary Partridge. Last lap flag is out as the guys go on to their final 2.1 miles of the Cadwell Park circuit. Still Simon Neary and passenger Jason Crow in the chair. We mentioned Simon's passenger, ex-passenger Dipash Chauhan. Dipash is hoping to get back in the outfit before the end of the year. He is back walking. The problem seems to now be okay. Obviously, it was a badly broken leg, but he's hoping to get back in the chair for the end of the year.
Hard life for passengers in sidecar racing.
I bet it's hard around that TT course as well.
Oh, yes, indeed. Walls on one side and God knows what else on the other, especially when they go over the mountain. Here he is, the man out front, and on course to take the win here today, round 4 of the series at Cadwell Park. Beautiful circuit. Weather's been absolutely superb this weekend so far, and no reason to believe it won't stay that way. He knows he's got it. They are number 1. The finger goes up to everybody standing by the restaurant, the bar there. And only a couple of corners to go, and he's home, Richard.
Yeah, Simon's already a British champion. Won it back in 2007, but as they come down towards Barn Corner for the final time, checker flag will be made ready as they come onto the start-finish straight. The win is going to go the way of Simon Neary and Jason Crow.
And now they lead the championship.
Yeah, they certainly do, Kenny, by around about 30, 40 points now. Second position, that's going to go Carl Fennick and Mark Sayers. Then it is Gary Bryan and Gary Partridge up next in third position. Roy Hanks and Dave Wells came across the line in fourth. Well, there is the results. And it was Simon Neary and Jason Crow that took the win by some 9 seconds over Carl Fennick and Mark Sayers. Gary Bryan and Gary Partridge in third. Roy Hanks, Dave Wells fourth. Dave Atkinson, Phil Napton in fifth. John Holden and Andy Winkle in sixth position.
Gary, you tried, but you just couldn't quite hang on to that second.
I did it for most of it. I'm just 25 years on me. I just got tired. Not fit enough, so I had work the last 3 or 4 laps. Saw me pit board with P +2, then 1. Then I got +2 again when Carl come past. All right, nobody else is coming. So I just up the ante last couple of laps and held on to it.
Proud to see you guys in maybe F1 in the future.
Well, the priority at the moment is the TT. Obviously, that's why we got the short bike. And seeing what Roger Body's got organised here, tied in with you guys, is absolutely fantastic. You know, it's like the Grand Prix paddock all over again, really, with 1 or 2 foreigners missing. But if the F2s can bring themselves up to the F1, then that would be, you know, a double whammy for us. You know, if it's got 3 wheels, then as far as I'm concerned, it's a good thing to be on. It's a good form of motorsport.
Carl, it's a double whammy for you guys today.
Oh, yeah, it's been a good weekend. Bike's been spot on and weather's been all right. Well, apart from Saturday morning practice, but it's come together well this weekend. Absolutely spot on.
Tough track for a passenger, Mark.
Yeah, but not when you've got a driver like Carl, really. You know what I mean? Knows place like back of his hand makes life easy as a passenger. You just got to get used to it. TT changed a lot for us, got me a bit fitter. Just ready for this place.
Yeah, but you guys are relatively new to this game, aren't you?
Yeah, we haven't been doing it right long. I've only been on with Carl. This is my first full season with him, really.
So pretty good result.
Oh, we're the youngest here, I think. Well, how are we about youngest here? Oh, yeah, but they've got to start getting used to it, I think, because we're going to be on this podium every weekend now. We want to be on it.
Well done, both of you, and we hope to see you doing even better in the future.
Thank you. Cheers.
Winners of the British F2 race here at Cadwell Park, Simon Neary, Jason Crow. Simon, it looked hard out there, but you weren't going to wait for anybody, were you?
No, that's right. I mean, yesterday's race we had a bit of a poor start, and we had a bit of an hard work on his hands, but we got a better start in that race, and I wanted to get a good start and try and get away if I could, and that's what we did. I watched my pit board all the way around it. We were getting bigger and bigger gap, and I thought, just keep going as we are, and we'll be all right here.
Fingers crossed for you guys, and look forward to seeing you maybe as champions at the end of the year.
Yeah, I hope so. I'd just like to say a big thanks to all our sponsors, David Smith Carpets, Q8 Oils. Big thanks to Nick Crowe, he's our team manager. There's many people help us, and we couldn't do it without them.
Just want to put this weekend, these 2 wins, for my uncle Poppy that died TT week. His name's on the front of the bike, and this one's for him.
Well done, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Well, that's it from our F2 action here at Cadwell Park in Lincolnshire. Hope you've enjoyed it. We're looking forward to seeing some more soon. From Richard and myself, thanks for joining us, and have a nice one.